Greetings, Anya here. As a kid, nothing captured my imagination quite like wondering what was in the skies just beyond my reach. The early childhood fare of Buck Rogers and Superman suggested that there was something out there, but only as a backdrop to their amazing adventures fighting villains and protecting the innocent. When the former Soviet Union launched Sputnik 1 back in late 1957, all that changed. Sputnik itself was a thing of beauty and grace, firing the imaginations of children and grown-ups everywhere. We suddenly started believing that the future was here and that it was an amazing time to be alive. Space now was within our grasp, and so the international space race began. When the first human set foot on the moon in 1969, it's hard to describe what the world felt. We were enthralled, glued to our television sets and radios. Life stood still as we listened to the words of Walter Cronkite and Neil Armstrong, as we saw those photographs captured by a few brave men on a world not our own. And for a few short moments, we recognized there was so much more for us than all our human troubles and quarrels on our fragile little planet. We remembered we are capable of achieving great things. Besides the usual sports stars, Hollywood beauties, and rock and rollers, our heroes now included astronauts. It was something you could actually be when you grew up. And suddenly those futuristic scenes from the movie 2001 became so much more believable. We could look forward to lunar colonies and spending leisure time on a space station in little more than 30 years. The optimism of the Star Trek television series also seemed more achievable. Maybe we as humans really could overcome our troubles and become spacefaring explorers after all. But then things just seemed to slow down. Although the world beyond our blue sky was just as fascinating as before, people in general seemed willing to settle for mere stories. The space shuttle program seemed so promising but finally came to an end. The International Space Station was a hopeful step, yet fell so very far short of the dream from Kubrick's movie. Today's Mars rover missions are encouraging, but we have no lunar or Martian colonies, and whenever we finally get there, it will be a privilege available only to a select few. The good news is that private industry has made strides where governments have not. We now have an official spaceport with 2 resident commercial enterprises, Virgin Galactic and SpaceX. But even so, tourism visits to worlds beyond our own still is out of reach for ordinary people like me. So I've had to make do with news reports and watching websites. Although I dreamed of seeing other worlds since childhood, as an adult I had to accept the sad truth that others would be the lucky ones to see alien lands with their own eyes. All this changed for me overnight late last year when a friend told me about a private research firm, the Extrasolar Research Institute, which had launched a research probe more than a decade ago. Recently, it had landed safely on a planet within the Epsilon Eridani system and had begun deploying a series of remotely operated land rovers. My friend told me that XRI was in need of unpaid rover drivers, and so were accepting applications from ordinary citizens who were willing to spend a few hours each day programming destinations into a rover and organizing the photographic, sonic, and environmental sample data transmitted back from the rover. This was like a dream come true for me. The chance to be part of an exploration team surveying a new planet, the opportunity to see photos from my rover before anyone else. It was closer than I'd ever hoped to get to achieving my old dream of traveling off-world and seeing new wonders with my own eyes. I couldn't wait to get started. I've always loved science, and now that I found a way to be involved in something important, something that could change everything about who we are as a race and what we can truly achieve, well, it just doesn't get much better than that for an ordinary citizen. I hope you feel the same and choose to join this worthy cause soon.